Yo, yo.
We back.
What it do, what it do, what it do, man. We back again, man. Welcome to another edition of, what I mean, us talking about the brain, our brain show, as we like to call it, or as it's become known to be. You know what I mean? Welcome, welcome. You know what I mean? We about to go on and get this thing started, man. Let me goddamn go ahead and acknowledge some people in the building with me, man. Juju, what's happening with you, girl? Always good to have you around, man. Been doing your thing, man. I see you.
Just chilling. You know, I'm just chilling, doing good, living life, and loving every
Sure
bit of
indeed.
it.
Man, that's how you supposed to do it. You feel me? Man, Marcus, what's happening, man? What's going on with your brother? Man, we've been having some pretty good conversations lately, man, about this brain thing, man. It's very intriguing, man. It'll send you down a rabbit hole if you go too far left, but you kind of got to stay right there in the middle and just stay in the rails. But it's wild, yo. Reality is what do they say? Reality is stranger than fiction, man. What's happening with you?
What's going on? What's going on? Peace, everybody. I tell you, um, I love nature and science in and of itself. It's definitely stranger than fiction, and it's fascinating what you can see and learn from it. It's just, I mean, where science is now and the developments that may come from. Man, I'm excited to touch on some of these subjects. Man, that's all.
Sure indeed, man. It's fun for me, man. Like I said, I like even the conversations about it, man. And I start learning new things. You know what I'm saying? Um, like that. I get a joy out of that, just learning new things about reality, um, and just nature and all of that, everything. You know what I mean? But we gonna let the crowd build up. I see we got a good 8,000 in the building. You heard me, Taj. What's happening with you, man? I see you down there. Yasa, always coming through, showing love. What's up with you? Zane Montego. I see you say everybody put your thinking caps on. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Like they used to tell you in school, man. Everybody put your thinking caps on. We about to think about this tool that we got in our heads, man, that everybody don't use correctly all the time, right? But once you know what's going on with it, you kind of get a better idea of how to make certain choices and what's going on with yourself. It's almost like a form of knowing yourself when you know how you think, objective reality from subjective reality. Um, why you do the things you do, why you react to certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't overreact to certain things. It's just one of those important things to know. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, we're gonna let the people fill up in the building, man, before we dive all the way in, man. How y'all week going so far, yo? Juju, how your week going, man?
Oh, amazing. I have family in town. We had a wonderful day at the beach. So we're going back Wednesday. So it's always
Okay.
great. Yeah. Families
Yeah,
first.
yeah, I'm supposed to be at the beach right now, man. I'm sitting in here with y'all nerds, you know what I'm saying? But it's all good.
Yeah, but I ain't been in 2 years, because I mean, it was nice to finally do that. It's my solitude, my sanctuary. And
Feel that.
shark bites are crazy where I'm from. So yeah, I ain't never going out there by myself. No way. We not doing that. Nope.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I don't trust them deep waters either. Yeah, I try to stay right there with my knees, the water come to my waist or whatever, and I'm Gucci.
Yeah, I used to
Try to,
do, you know what I'm saying, go out until you can't touch the bottom, but that's a little risky.
nah, I'm good.
So
And
I'm
look,
like, well,
see me
right.
go on. They can't find me for nah, I can't do it.
So I was like, let me just stick to the pool or the springs if I, want to. I mean, yeah, yeah, boy, I don't trust it like that. Like it's to the point where swimmers have to wear this little band, right? You
Hmm.
wear it on one limb, but the problem is it only keeps the shark at bay for that limb. So until I get four of them joins, I'm Gucci. You feel me?
Right, right. Man, your week been all right, Mark. You probably been spending time with family and
Oh
working.
yeah. We We doing good, man. I'm actually getting ready to shift over to my fall and winter garden, so I'm ecstatic about that. Working on some things, and y'all know towards this year we usually have our family outings and barbecues and all like that. So it's been ecstatic, you know what I'm saying? Just been kicking it with my folks and all. Beautiful thing, you know. I got a niece who's a doula. So me and her got together at a block party, man. It was beautiful talking to her, catching up on some things from back, you know, reminiscing and so forth and so on. So, you know, it just is what it is, man. A beautiful experience, man. Life can be wonderful.
So we're gonna get a fall garden show. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, man, I gotta bring that back. I ain't forget. I know a lot of people.
There's a little pause right there.
I mean, just a little pause
out there. But I got y'all. Yeah, I probably do container garden, then look for some fall garden stuff. So we can expect that to come soon. I'll send out the stuff. Get everybody ready. Ready.
We still got to do that. We still got to do that. Do the plant shit or music, or you know, I say, do they grow better with the music or people talking to them? We still got to do that one.
Oh, we gonna do our own little experiment. Oh, that.
Yeah, I don't know if we really fought that all the way through. That when we brought that up, I think the first time you did a plant show.
So how we gonna do that? That's interesting. I'm gonna work on that. So somebody gonna do hip hop music, somebody gonna do like jazz or classical, and then somebody else gonna do hard rock or something like that, and then we gonna.
And then we just let the plant grow. Somebody got to do the silence joint where we just let it grow if you water it.
With no music. That's the control, right? That's what they call it, control.
Yeah. Look, then we got to have somebody who might have to get Unc to go cuss at the joint. You know what I mean?
Man, you're funny. So he got to get the plane. He got to like cuss at
it. He got to cuss at it every day.
Oh, man, I'm done. His plant going to be named. I ain't going to do that.
I give you one. I put some headphones, blast the music or that blast the hip hop music on it, man. See what that one do. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So we came up with this conversation based on a video me and Marcus had checked out called The Perception Deception. Y'all can check it out. It's on YouTube. I'm trying to look it up real quick to show y'all, tell y'all what channel it was on.
It's in the
ain't it a PBS?
Yeah, it's a PBS documentary. And the reason it intrigued me is because so she did an experiment where the doctor set her eyes up to look at a picture, and it only followed her eyes, and it was showing that when we look straight ahead, we only see like a small detailed image of the overall picture. I wish we had it on so we could put it up on here or whatever. But if y'all check out the documentary, y'all see what we talk. Oh, matter of fact, boom, there it is. Go to that part where she where it showed when she was looking at the screen. I just you don't got to play the video, but just show what she saw compared to like what we see. You know how our eyes only really see a small detailed image, a small piece of the image, but our brain creates the rest of it. I know you're familiar with that, Mark.
Yeah, it's part of the technology that we talked about when they talk about like how much of the actual universe the satellites take a picture. They say hold out your arm and the thumb, and that's the area of the sky. That's actually the area of your focal point too. So if you hold your arm all the way out, stick up your thumb, that's about the same size you actually focus on at one point in time. The rest is blurry, but your eyes are constantly in motion. So it's taking these little snapshots and then formulating and combining these images together to give you one image of reality, you could say.
Was it the part where she was doing the eye exam?
Yeah. Yep. And it was saying the reason that your eyes sense only a small portion of what you're looking at in front of you is because in order for it, so say you looking out in front of you right now, you see everything and look like everything is in full detail, right? Now your brain is creating most of that for you. Reason being, in order for your brain to process, like if you looked out and you actually saw everything in full detail, you know, without your brain having to create the rest of it or predict the rest of it for you, like it would be the processing power will be too much for our small brains that we got right now. You know, if
and
that
and
makes
and
sense.
and the energy would be too high. You imagine that what we do now is about 20% as an adult of the total energy calories you take in is dedicated to a brain, right? And that's with us only
Mm-hmm.
processing minimal information. You can imagine how much more energy, how much more you would need to consume
Right,
just to be able to process 5% more. Like it's sooner or later it becomes unmanageable.
right. So, hey, Drew, before you play that, how much of this can we? Cause I don't want us to get, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we could just show the image or whatever that we were talking
So
about. I
you
don't want
just
us
have
to get into
to
it.
stop it every 20 to 30 seconds and do commentary, and you'll be fine.
Okay, got you. All
Okay,
right.
and I'll also put the fair use at the bottom. But that was a good starting point.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think that guy down there.
That's right, but it's very hard for you to see, right?
Every time I look at him, it disappears because this blocks it.
This actually is interesting because it's in high quality vision wherever you look, but it's blurry in the surround.
Now the scene looks normal to me, but mostly blurry to you because your eye movements don't match mine.
Wherever you happen to look, you have high quality image processing happening, and the surround is completely blurry. This kind of represents exactly what your visual system looks like all the time anyway.
All right, Paul,
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
So that's what I was just talking about. You have a limited focal point, and this is ultimately why human observation is one of the weakest forms of data that you can do.
Eyewitness testimony.
Yeah, eyewitness
Mm-hmm.
testimony, same, is why that's problematic is because you really think you see the whole picture, but in reality you do not. You see bits and pieces and then formulate it in your mind. And because it's done that way, details that are insignificant may be missed.
Yeah. And
You
why it's
may
so
think,
easy?
you may think it's insignificant, but it's just what it is. That's how your brain processes.
And that's why it's so easy for mistaken identity to take place. Because you might have thought you saw, somebody with a black hoodie and you know what I'm saying, but your experiences might have led you in that direction, like, oh, you were black. And whole time, your vision gave you the wrong portrait. But go ahead, my bad. I ain't mean to jump into your build, yo.
No, you on point. I just wanted to point that out about what you actually saying, what that block represents is about the focal point of your thumb. That's actually what that block represents on what your eyes can do.
Right. So basically your eyes are jumping around. So say like in this picture that she was looking at, right? As you saw, she was there, the real detail area. Like, so see right there where that green light on the right is real detailed in that area right there, right? Everything else is blurry. So your eyes are jumping around constantly, getting a picture of what's around it. This is how your vision actually looks, but being that your brain is getting all of these little pieces of information, is making it seem like everything is as clear as that green light over to the right over there. And that's all, like right there where she's looking at, that's all she can see. I mean, that's all her eyes are focusing on right there at that moment. But it's already taking a snapshot of the whole area. And her brain is just kind of like, okay, this is what this side over here look like. We just gonna keep this like this. Am I interpreting that right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's sufficient enough for you to survive. So that's the key. I mean, we drive down the street while this process is going on. It's actually it has a high success rate for fitness and for being able to pass on your genes. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's accuracy. Accuracy is not its goal. And that's a fascinating tale of the human being, of nature in and of itself, that in survival and so forth and so on. Case in point, that's why it's important for people to have brake lights on, right? Because when the light lights up, it draws your eye to that focal point. The motion of the light come on draws those rapidly eye movements to a specific point, so that the car in front of you is braking. In case you ever wanted to know why that's significant for thing, I think they had a video where Michael Jai White was with Kimbo, and he was punching, and he was trying to explain to him that the shoulder motion side to side draws the eye quicker than a straight punch, right? And so that's working off the same principle.
Got you. I know they say like red cars usually get the most tickets because they're the most seen on the road when when looking. So is that kind of like the same in a sense, like we're drawn to the color red?
Well, we're drawn to a lot of different things, but that's pretty much what happens. We you just focus on things that are bright. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Things that are bright. You're more likely to remember a bright yellow car than you are a gray car.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So basically,
Hold on, Juju, see if you can get to the part of the video with the butterflies for us. It should be coming up like right after this, or it was right before.
So why would our brains be built this way?
Oh, hold on.
Well, think about what the alternative is. What if we didn't have eye movements? Well, if we didn't have eye movements and we just wanted to see the entire world, we'd need to have our retina see everything in very high quality. Our brains would be 600 times bigger. And you got to remember, the visual system's our best sense. This is our richest sense. So our other senses are even more impoverished.
Here's how your brain really sees the world. It's easy to think it's like this. You open your eyes and the whole world pours in. But really, it's like this.
All right, hold it.
Your eyes sample.
Yeah, I just didn't want us to get, the 20 second. But
you're counting. That's cute.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, I think PBS is pretty good. They're like Disney, but it's good to be safe though. Still.
Got you. But yeah, go ahead. Let that continue.
Tiny pieces of the world, and the brain fills in the rest, constantly, all the time.
We feel like we have this incredibly rich, wide, full, detailed percept of what's going on moment to moment. And that's probably pretty illusory. What we're actually aware of is a tiny subset of the information that comes in through our eyes.
Don't believe it? Consider this. Your optic nerve is what connects your eye to your brain, and its location near the center of your retina effectively creates a blind spot near the center of your visual field. And yet, you don't experience the blind spot. Why? The brain samples the area near the blind spot and fills in the gap with its best guess.
Yeah, that was pretty
nice. I was steady talking, dang.
Oh, go ahead.
It's predicting. See, that gave a great example of how the brain predicts for you. Go ahead, CHILEMBWE.
Now, this is extremely fascinating, right? About the blind spot. But in that image of the brain, they went across it. You see it dip down just a little bit and come back up to the visual cortex section. That's the amygdala. And what ends up happening is a fascinating thing. If you were to walking down in like a forest or something, right, and you see any type of movement, you'll jump, right? You might even assume it's a snake and run. And what's going on is that visual image, right, is interpreted by the amygdala first for survival's sake, and then your visual cortex interprets the rest of the information to say, no, that wasn't a snake, that was a twig. You get what I'm saying? And so that's actually what happened. So that little dip that she showed in the video with the yellow line is actually around where the amygdala be at. And in that dip, you have some information that happens. So if you ever want to know why people jump first, and they be like, oh, that's just such and such, or they walk in and they think they see somebody you jump, and then you recognize it's your friend or something like that. That's the process that's taking place. You got the amygdala responding for fear, danger, flight or fight, and then your visual cortex puts the pieces together and say, oh no, that's my aunt.
Hey, so I think we had a conversation about this a while back about you know, how people get shot because it, you know, perceived that. Now we've heard these things, you know, I thought my life was in danger or I perceived a threat, but there's actually something to it. You know, we just kind of don't know when the you know, say like a police incident where, you know, an innocent person gets shot and they didn't have nothing, you know, and they say, oh, well, I thought he was reaching for a gun, or I thought he had a gun in his hand, and it was a cell phone. But that perception of that movement triggered that amygdala before you were able to even understand, like, yo, that wasn't even a threat. But then in order for you to even perceive that as a threat, it had to been some experiences that you might have had in the past that your brain already is predicting about, that, okay, this is a dangerous person already from the rip. So of course he would grab a gun right now. And then you react off of that. Did that make sense what I said? Or?
Absolutely. So it's air management and expectation. So your brain is constantly moving between that. So it makes a prediction. It doesn't make a prediction. It makes multiple predictions, right? And then based on those multiple predictions, which one is more probable, right? And when there's an error, then you have this adjustment that takes place. And it's constantly doing this, which is it's fascinating, but it kind of throws you where you're going to have to either stand with science or stand with your emotional feelings towards it, right? Because that was one of the things that's difficult for me. Police shootings, right? So I have this information to know that expectations shape perception. That's actually what it is. Your expectation can shape your perception. So if I'm expecting this individual to have a weapon, any emotion would trigger that in my perception. And so that's problematic. But then this is why we go into the need for effective training,
right?
The need to understand implicit and explicit biases,
right?
This is where all that comes from, so that your brain can learn new methods of how to view the world. And I mean, it's not one of those things that will be 100%, nor is it one of those things that can happen overnight. And so it takes time to shape and change a culture that is based on racism and myths about the big violent black man or the loose black woman,
or the strong black woman trope, and that we take pain, you know, better and things like that. You know, those are implicit biases.
Yeah.
When we view black men,
or even a strong black woman is a trope.
Yeah, that's what I said. I thought.
Yeah,
you said, yeah.
But I'm giving examples in the professional capacity. Another one is like black boys. They're usually not viewed as black boys, but as black men, right? That's a deadly implicit bias, right? Tamar Rice, Trayvon Martin, those are examples of that. I just had to add my 2 cents.
Oh, no. And so those expectations help shape. And so you get into this like cycle. It's like a loop, right? It's just like a cycle in which you have expectations. Your brain perceives these expectations, and then you're in a situation in which those expectations come true. And it only continues to reinforce your idea. I get upset when I see near misses being promoted on the news heavy, right? Where when you look at black bodies, it's always in reference to police encounters, right? Stuff like that, because that starts to shape a person's view of the world and their view of reality.
Right.
And that's problematic. I know this seems strange, but there's whole parts of the country in which they have not had black people living near them their whole lives. right? They're still semi-isolated from other minority groups, and their perceptions help shape policy. And those
Yeah.
policies can have adverse effects for other people. So these are just things. I mean, that's that's not what this show's about, but that's just things that put it in context of how serious this conversation can become.
True indeed. True indeed.
Did you want to any more from the video? Or we're good. That
Yeah,
video is good, by the way,
yeah,
and it is in the description for everybody to watch. I put there's several. I used all the sources. What were you saying, Marcus?
you got the one that that's
Chapman?
from this. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
you
you
want to
would
play?
like next.
Yeah, you want to play that one next? Or Ken, you done with this video?
Yeah, I'm good on that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I know we were which one is the one that you was talking about real quick, Marcus?
This is
That
the
video.
Chapman, the face where the face keeps switching back and forth as it spins. It's in that video too.
Got you. Okay, yeah. I seen this one. Yep. I see it.
This is the hollow head. Actually, at the moment, it's a perfectly normal head of Charlie Chaplin. But wait, as it comes round, you'll see, or will you, that it's hollow. The back of it, coming round now, is actually a hollow mask. It appears to rotate in the opposite direction, and amazingly, the nose sticks out, although it's actually sticking in. Coming round now is the normal, correct, as it were, face. And wait again as it comes round, and you'll see this extraordinary thing like Jekyll and Hyde. Both the noses stick out because it's so unlikely that a nose sticks in that a face is hollow. So you see it as convex, although it's in fact concave.
Right, so the brain is trying to make sense of not understanding the nose going inward but outward. So it creates an outward image for you.
Exactly. And so this is facial perceptions. And so this is one of the things that they're pretty sure they have a grasp on, at least some of the mechanisms involved in this. And that is that our brains are wired and trained to see a forward face, not a concave face. And so if in this image, when the concave face comes forward, right, your brain flips it. It puts it on the outside due to the fact that its expectations is that a nose is always pointing outward. Eye is always pointing this way. And you can actually do it another way too, where you flip the face upside down. And you'll notice that when you do that, your brain will flip it back the right way.
Right.
That's why.
Doesn't it have something to do with like the evolutionary process of a child recognizing its mother's face? I think that is tied in with that it will automatically process that face accurately when it's not accurate.
Yeah, so what happens is that they believe that through the evolutionary course that we're hardwired to see faces a specific way. That just is what it is. The mother bonding takes place as well, in which they get recognized. But believe it or not, it's actually the warmth and smell that actually has a stronger imprinting on the brain. But facial recognition is definitely there. And they believe that it's actually part of the primate conclave of evolutionary factors. So it's not just humans, it's primates that have this facial orientation bias. And it's kind of disheartening, it's like kind of strange seeing a face flip like that when you know it's supposed to be one way, but your eyes and your brain sees it another way.
So say for we about to say something, Drew?
I was like, did you want to see more? Are we good?
Behave as now.
One more time.
And then it'll become the normal face again. There.
Who is that talking? But that's weird. It's giving Albert Hitchcock, whatever his name was. But
It's definitely one of the strangest things. Like that and the word thing drives me crazy.
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to this point, right? Because we wanted to talk about subjective reality versus objective reality, or perception versus objective reality, right? Um, and a definition, I tapped into Chat GPT and was like, okay, what's the difference between a good definition, the definition between subjective and objective reality? And it said perception is inherently subjective, right? Shaped by individual experiences and mental processes. So, say like the face we just seen, whereas objective reality would say it was what was the concaved, right? It was inward. Um, your perception said, nah, this is an outward face. It's not still outward. The nose is out, the lips is out, the whole face looks, like it's out. But the objective reality of it was that it's actually in. And while objective reality is factual and independent of personal viewpoints. My bad. Perception is inherently subjective, shaped by individual experiences and mental processes, while objective reality is factual and independent of personal viewpoints. Perception involves interpreting sensory input, which can lead to distortions or biases. The biases we talked about earlier, Marcus, about the gun, cops shooting, people and all that. Whereas objective reality is the actual state of things unaffected by individual interpretations. So that's going to be key in understanding, what we're talking about. But go ahead, Mark. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, you absolutely right. I want to talk about maybe some background information in this. This is really the only writing that I have on it.
Okay.
Let me get my screen share right quick.
Wait, while you getting that, I'm gonna shout out the chat real quick, man. Anthony Bowman, I see you, bro. Cedric Ortega, man. We'll see y'all, man. PseudoKillas officials coming through. See y'all, man. Choco Kitty. What's happening, man? Just got in the Discord, you know what I'm saying? PseudoKillas Army up in this joint. Raymond Bear, what's up, dog? Herbert Goss, what's happening, man? Glad y'all could join us. Gary Barrett, what's up, bro? Always showing support, man. We appreciate you, yo. But go ahead, Mark.
So this is the summary from philosophy and how science begins to perceive these things, and it's called primary secondary quality distinction, right? So primary qualities are thought to be properties of objects that are independent of any observer, such as solidity, extension, motion, number, figure. While secondary qualities are thought to be properties produced by sensations in observers, such as color. We're going to come back to color, taste, smell, and sound. They can be described as effective things have on certain people. Secondary qualities use the power of reflection in order to be perceived by our minds. These qualities would ordinarily be said to be only a power and rather than the quality of the object. And so basically what he's saying is that was Locke too. I'm sorry. That was Locke. He's a philosopher. Basically what he's saying is there's certain principles that we're going to take to be objective, right? But just because it's objective, certain principles of the same object can be subjective. So if I was to take an apple, the shape of the apple, right, would be objective, but not necessarily the color of the apple, right? Because somebody could say the color of the apple is red, right? Some can say it's really pink. You get what I'm saying? So the color could be somewhere in between. So that's where the conversation comes from with Locke and understanding the distinction between the two. There are some scientists who push against primary. Some scientists that push against primary qualities which I brought about one of them today in the Discord. That is his argument. It is about primary qualities. So it's interesting in a sense like that. We're going to get more into about what colors do and all like that. But the bottom line is that a lot of things that we take to be objective is really subjective and based on the culture you're in.
Man, it was interesting. One of them videos you shared, they was talking about Galileo, how he was kind of like the first one to put it out there. Like he believed that sensory data are pure names that only exist in the presence of individuals who can perceive them. So he kind of had an idea already, like,
Facts.
things like smells, colors, odors, tastes. Odors will go with smells, but taste only exists in the bodies of sentient creatures. And that's, I think he even figured that out, like when he figured out that the Earth revolves around the sun.
Right, the
But
obvious one.
yeah, it's like we, from our perspective, that's why you got all these flat earthers, because they're like, yo, we know what we seeing.
We're not moving.
Right. I'm going, my eyes tell me what's going on. But history tells us that people don't like to be told that their senses aren't telling them the truth. Hence Galileo told them the truth, yet he got locked up for it. Even though he was right, in hindsight, we find out, okay, he was right the whole time about it.
House arrest for life.
yeah, that was, back then it was serious. Like, you ain't about to tell nobody these senses is perception deception. Like, our show we get kicked off the show. They lock us up as soon as we hit the end button, and that was it. That's all she wrote for us. You know what I'm saying? Because it's counterintuitive. But
exactly, your senses can actually deceive you, and that's pretty much what the show is really trying to get people to really see. So if you're standing on the plains of Africa, your senses aren't there to detect that you're spinning around on a planet, right? As far as you're concerned, you're standing still, right?
Right.
And some people talk about that, but our senses evolved on the planet Earth. On different planets, our senses may not function as well as they do, right? It could be. Are
you about to say something else about that, or?
Huh?
You cut out.
Yeah. Then it could become a hindrance in other environments, right? And so these are things that we should be concerned about when we talk about space travel, when we talk about interplanetary travel, things like that. Your senses are specifically set for this planet.
Yep, set for survival, and just enough, because we study evolution, we read a lot on that, and we already understand that you didn't evolve to be perfect. You evolved to be just good enough. So just good enough to do what? To survive. Where? On planet Earth.
The age of reproduction. Don't forget that.
The age of reproduction, and then after that is like, nice knowing you. You know what I'm saying? You survive long enough to pass on genes, and those things that do it the most successfully are the genes that are the people that live on. Those are the ones that survive. So, yeah, I'm right there with you on that, Mark. What up, Tiff, man? I ain't forget about you, man. I see you in the building. PseudoKillas official all day. But yeah, man. Was you saying something about that?
CEO lady killer.
The Black Widow herself.
Right. Let me stop.
You know what I mean? Yeah, man.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. We did the butterfly things and stuff like that, and I think we should all just check out the video and go back over it when you have some spare time. So we're gonna talk on visual illusions, optical illusions, and things like that, right?
Yep. People say, people want to say, oh, well, I know my eyes are telling me. I know what's going on. It's don't tell me my senses don't give me the truth. Well, prime example, optical illusions. Why do they work on it? Why is it so hard to ignore these optical illusions? Like you ever just like, no, hold on, I know what it is, but why is my eyes making it look like it what it ain't? It's because your brain ain't built for the truth. You know what I mean? But go ahead, Mark. You got the optical illusions already in the thing. I know you had.
Yeah. So I want to go over a few things to try to help everyone see these how these optical illusions may work for some. How they may work for some. I think they're very, very interesting in and of themselves. Right. So they're not just optical illusions. What's going on is that the brain predicting mechanisms have already, based on your prior experiences, predicted what they should see to a certain extent. And this is where things can get kind of catchy. So if you would just look at this square for about 10 seconds, you'll see some unique things. You may see some unique things happen, right? Just looking at this for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's starting to rotate on me. But not rotate like in movement, but I'm starting to see it in different angles of the box, if that makes sense.
Correct. So if you was to see what happened, is this is called the Necker cube, right? And it's shown this way. And what happened is your brain is kind of like shifting between both experiences. If you stare at that for a period of time, you may see section A as the front of the cube, or you may stare at it long enough and you may see B at the cube. But either which way, they may flip back and forth. So you're having this one box is providing two different experiences for some people, right? Of course, we never speak in absolutes, but this just gives you an idea of what the heck be going on, right? And so,
right.
Yeah, it's wild, right? So,
Yep.
So we believe what we see is in a place of perfection. Like what we see is what it is, but in reality, that's just not it.
Yep. Yeah, that's wild. You know what I mean? You'll have people argue and kill each other over, nah, it gotta be A. A is in the front. And then you got somebody that see B, like, Nick, man, how you mean? You stupid. Woo, woo. Then they just start arguing, and the whole time it's just a optical illusion. It's like, but there's nothing to lose a friendship over. y'all brains just see two different things.
Right. I mean, so this is science has the thing that's fascinating. Science has known about this for quite a long time, right? And you'll hear you may watch a YouTube video and you'll hear your brain creates a simulation or your brain creates a reality. This what we're talking about now is the basis of what they're talking about, right? That your brain is in a box. Imagine your brain in a box, completely dark, and the only thing it has to judge what's going on is the sensory information. And remember, right. It's not necessarily the visual cortex like we think. It's literally pulses flowing through, right? Electric currents coming through, right? That's all it has, and prior experience. And prior experience don't have to be your personal experience. It could be stuff that you read, which is why reading is fundamental and very important.
Facts.
Right? Things you've seen on TV or heard about in stories or in music. Right?
Sure indeed. Touching on that music part, and I fought with this for the longest, right? Like, man, certain music, certain lyrics or vibes in music, I'm using vibes loosely, don't kill me on that. But certain content will make you think a certain way. You know what I mean? And I've always been like, nah, well, I can listen to murder, kill, and it don't make me want to go kill nobody or nothing like that. But who knows what effect it might have? It might have an effect on a decision you might make one day that played a part in it. You just ain't even never know that. Listen to the goddamn, kill somebody if they slap, if they step on your shoe. It might not have made you do that, but it might have made you do something towards a more aggressive action towards somebody if you get disrespected. You know what I mean? And people that might have listened to more peaceful music, you know what I mean? Who knows if that might have had them do a more peaceful thing. But I'm just throwing that out there, like, music does affect it's the experiences of the content that you take in does affect your choices in the future.
Well, everything really does, right? Because your brain is predicted based on what your experiences are, right? So experiential knowledge matters, whether it's in music or reading a book, right?
Right.
So let's look at this one right here. This is another beautiful one, right? If you were to look at the images, right, you see on the left circles with just blatted out parts. But when the lines align itself with each other, it almost seems like down there's a imaginary line creating a whole piece in front of it on the right side. So on the left, you can see the cutouts of the circle are not there, are not in alignment. But when they do align, it almost looks like the cutouts is now something sitting on top of the circles, right? And so that's a fascinating one too. Your brain creates what its expectations. So it says the visual system creates a line between the two discs on the right to correct the erasure error. And so that's an error systematic in your brain perception, or at least expectations. Mm-hmm. And so it creates this image to make it more fuller to what its expectation is. Though when you look at it on the left, you know that it's not that.
Right. Yeah, I see that bar right there down the middle, yo. It look like a pole. You stare at it long enough, you stare at it long enough, you then see like a little black thin little line right there to make the pole complete.
That's exactly what they're talking about. That your brain literally just puts that line there because they expect it to be there, right? And so that's the way that goes. And here's an even better example. So if you look on the left now, you'll notice that the circles are incomplete, right? It almost looks like Pac-Man, somewhat eating something, right? You see little Pac-Man open mouth. But when they align this way on the right, it's almost like it's a square there. Mm-hmm. Right? And so that square, it almost looks like it's a square put on top of it. And if you look at it long enough, you'll start to see lines, just faint lines start to appear on it for some people, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is the prime example of what happens with that, right? And here go the colors. Now, we done had discussions in the Discord about
damn, not the rainbow discussion. That joke lasted like a month.
Man, that day, man, I think me and Marcus.
I'm playing.
Me and Marcus and maybe a few others, man, we debated this like we had a big throwdown about this rainbow situation.
Throwdown about the rainbow, y'all. That's how we get it in. All I'm saying, I'm in there singing somewhere over the rainbow while they getting.
Hey, what was the initial question that you asked, Mark? I remember you came in and was like, "Yo, what is?"
What was that? Do everybody see the colors of the rainbow the same? That was the initial question.
You sure? I thought it was like whether or not it was a social construct, not a social construct. What was the question, Mark? I can't remember.
I was saying, listen, I said that beyond I think it was something like this. Are the colors in the rainbow subjective or objective truth?
That's what it was. It's subjective.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I said,
you said it.
I said it was cultural dependent. That the way you
That's what
see
you
the
said.
colors is based
That-
on the culture that you in, and
That's
that not
facts.
everybody see the same colors.
That's what you said. That was it. That was it.
Yep, and I
Somewhere
had that,
else the
and I had to come to
rainbow.
the realization that the rainbow ain't even an objective reality.
Yeah, the
The
rainbow
rainbow
is
is strictly a construct of human
subjective.
of brains. You
Man,
know, it's how we interpret that part of nature, but it's not even
man,
really there.
damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shoot.
Mac Rob in the building. What's
I got
happening
them
with your Mac?
confused. Y'all
Yeah,
gonna have
Big
to
Mac
break this
Rob, what's up?
down. Yeah,
Pseudo-Killer official.
PKO.
He said broken up white light.
Yeah, but y'all gonna have to explain this. Go into more detail. You got maybe when we drop the link, you can come on the panel, Choco Kitty, and maybe we can help. But you got objective, you got subjective. So the rainbow is subjective. Everybody's gonna see it differently. That's what we're saying. And it depends on what culture you're a part of and how that determines how you see it. That's what we're
Mhm.
saying. Yeah. That's the gist of it. And I was the most
And
confused person, so I'm just
and hold
saying.
on, and is the rainbow this is the thing. Is the rainbow there if there are no brains to perceive it? Is that even a objective thing?
They say no. It's in one of the videos that we posted.
Right,
And that
because
would
our
be
brain
no. Only
right,
us
because
seeing
our
it. It exists.
yep, it goes back to what Galileo said. You know, the colors, the odors that we smell, the things that we taste are subjective to only us. Like um those aren't real things. They're just things that our brain uses the sense, yeah. It's I don't want to confuse. I see a Choco Kitty saying I'm confused. I don't want to confuse her that like that. But we're gonna drop the link, man, and let you come up like Juju said.
She
But go
said,
ahead, Mark.
"What's
You
the
wanna
trick? What's the trick here?"
So,
Go ahead.
so
I ain't
why?
laughing at you, sis. I'm laughing with you. Trust me. We went through this, okay? We went through it.
So the thing is, why do you and I see stripes? In other words, why do we make the distinction between the colors, right? Because we have mental concepts for colors like red, orange, and yellow. Your brain automatically uses these concepts to group together the wavelengths in certain ranges of the spectrum, categorizing them as the same color. Right? Now, the key to that is if you was in Russia, you would not categorize them the same way because they have a different set of concepts for colors. Even if you're in the same country like China, if you're in one part of China, which speaks a different language than the standard Mandarin, right? You have a different concept of colors as well.
Yeah, them Cantonese is different from the Mandarins. I'm just
right.
saying.
So, what is really going on? This is actually what is a rainbow, blurry. There are no real lines because there's a continuous spectrum, and so we put it there. If you ever look at the actual chart for electromagnetism, light, you'll find that it's continuous numbers from such and such and such and such. And arbitrarily, humans have decided to say this is red, this is blue, this is yellow, and this is ultraviolet, this is infrared. And in those concepts do we get the concept of what we just seen before, which is the lines. So the reality of it is that those lines were a cultural concept created so that humans can help to understand the reality around them. And if you think about it, it makes sense. You look at animals, most poisonous things are bright colors. You stay away from them. Most things that you can do are dark and safe. You can stay away. You go towards those things. You can see variations of color so you can survive on the plains. You understand? And so this is how we evolved. But we did not evolve to see the full spectrum of color. Only the part that is concerned with our survival.
Visible.
Yeah. Goes all the way
That's
back
it.
to what we
Right.
always talk about, natural selection.
Correct.
What was able to pass those genes down. I was tripping with Anthony Bowman said, so you saying ain't no pot of gold? Ain't no goddamn pot of gold. Nope. It's all damn figment of our imagination, man.
Now,
Go ahead.
what you have is reflections of light. That's it, right? And then we place this as being a rainbow and the color spectrums that go on. Now, the thing that's strange about this is, right, as far as your human existence go, we've had this conversation with the free will. And I always say the same thing. To you, it is irrelevant that the light you see from the sun took almost 8 minutes to get here. Mm-hmm. You live as though that light is at that specific time, at that specific moment. Right. So you will stand outside and you will see your expectation, a rainbow. The colors that you see in a rainbow are all based upon your culture. What you really see is electromagnetism being reflected in different directions. And that there are no specific border lines between these colors. We've created that.
Yeah, man.
And so now we're going to go to the last one. If you look at this image, many people will not actually know what this image is. Some may, but for the most part, most will not know what that image is. We've been telling you that most of your perceptions are based upon your experiences. And so now we're going to give you an example. You can take a few seconds to look at it and tell me if y'all know what it is.
Yeah, in the chat, man, go ahead and type in what y'all think that is right there. We already know what's going on.
Yeah, boy. Y'all try to type in the chat what y'all think the picture is on. We'll give it like another 30, 45 seconds.
Now, y'all followed the previous brain show. Y'all have seen this before. You exclude yourself.
Nah, y'all go for it too. I don't think they remember. Come on, y'all. Y'all guess what it is.
Mac said a B.
Yeah. I don't know, Mac. Saint Anthony. Come on, Choco Kitty Thurman. Y'all put in the chat what y'all think this is. There's no wrong answers. Trust
me. Thurman said the world. So you mean like a map of the world? Is that what you talking about, Thurman?
Come on, give me one more answer. Zane.
Zane said that's a B, cuz. That's a B, cuz.
Choco Kitty, you still there? We'll try it. Yeah, 10 more seconds, but that's it. What do you say?
A Rorschach test. A Rorschach. How you say that right there? Rorschach test.
He's gonna have to come up here and tell us what that is. I'm sure it's some psychological test. I think that's the psychological test.
Okay.
Just guess, Choco Kitty. There you go.
Yeah.
PKO Macron wins. You win a cookie.
So I showed you this now. Now, after you see this, let's try to look at this image right here. Now, most people, even if you did guess a B, you now have a more fuller version of it. But again, like I said, some people would have being able to see it, and some people may not have been. Those who have not been, once you've seen the image of the B, it would have filled in this now image that before you couldn't recognize. And that is based upon having the prior experience of seeing the picture of the B.
My brain ain't working because that still look like a bunch of blob. I don't see no B. I done seen this 1,000 times, but I'm just going.
You gotta give us some more of them experiences, man. Hit her again with the experience.
Boy, I never got it, but it's okay.
Oh, you didn't get it? All right, let me see if I can find another one.
Yeah, that ain't fill in for me at all.
So basically the point is, once you get an experience of something, when you come back across that situation again, that experience is going to help you recognize what's objectively true about that.
Correct.
or
Yeah.
perceived as objectively true about that. So it might not even be objectively true. It might just be your subjective truth, but you'll have an experience that's going to tell you this is what this is.
Right. That's
It,
go
it
ahead.
goes. It even goes with like things that happen in life. You know what I'm saying? You might come across situations or whatever, and let's say relationships, and that's an easy one. And somebody might be doing you dirty or whatever, right? Or you might think they're doing you dirty. Why do you think they're doing you dirty? Because things are happening that happened in a previous thing that somebody did you dirty in, right?
Ooh, great
So
example.
so now you have an experience that's going to lead you to predict that, okay, A, B, and C is happening. Therefore, the prediction is they doing me dirty. You know what I'm saying? But that prediction could also be wrong. That's why it's a subjective thing, and it's a subjective reality that your brain is interpreting, and not an objective one, because all it's going off is based off of experiences. But back to the physical, the B and shit.
That was
Yeah,
a perfect
Choco Kitty.
example.
That's another thing. Prejudice is another thing.
Prejudice.
So people talk about having a good image of people, and I think that's what this stems from. Is like the better our image or whatever, and the better one can say, like, if we're not always being shown in the news robbing banks and killing people and all of that, and these people don't have these negative experiences of us in their mental, then when they come across us in real life, they won't treat us as such. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a subjective idea that they have of us as Black people. I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So if they have good positive things on the news about us, and showing us graduating college, showing us doing productive businesses and things of that nature, or talking about science, writing books or whatnot, they would have a better idea of us, and it wouldn't be so quick to jump to the negative. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just a little. My bad. I'm probably getting long with it, but go ahead, Mark. You had something else? Another picture? Oh,
So
he might be on.
you're not long winded. I'm going to pull up another one if y'all give me a second. But let me show y'all this last one while I prepare the next one for y'all.
Oh,
So y'all
okay.
can see another example of it. Because I've seen some of the B. I'm not sure, Mac Rob, if you remember from the old one, but you also in the field in which you would have some type of experience in this, Mac Rob.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here's what's being alluded to today. And this is how science currently suspects human beings and primates, for the most part, view their actions, right? So you have a world, and you have how you perceive the world, which is sometimes, most of the time, based upon experiences and predictions, right? And then this is what leads to you to make a so-called decision. Everybody knows how I feel about that. These lead to actions, and the acts then help influence how you view the world further. And you just keep going in this loop over and over and over and over and over again, right? And so this is your perceived reality. And it's important to recognize that it is your perceived reality, and that other people may have a different perceived reality. And based on that, there's no need for such hostile conflict, because they really may not be able to see what you see, because you have your own personal experience, right? I can sympathize and empathize and in some degree understand what it's like to be a Black woman, but they have their own specific experiences that I just don't have. I don't have those same experiences. Right. And I have to be able to recognize that I don't have those exact same experiences. Mm-hmm. Right? So just give me a second. I'm going to pull up the next one.
Yeah, it goes back to, no, keep it on that for a second. It goes back to that brain in the box. we mentioned a woman, but what do they have? They got the brain inside the skull that's trying to figure out the survival, how to survive in this world, right? So they're going through things that constantly put them in danger that you said we don't constantly deal with. So certain things that we might be like, yo, you overreacting or you tripping, like, that ain't, I'm just saying hi to you. What you tensing up for? But their experiences might have led them to, have a fear response based on a tone of voice. It could be anything. It could be a smell. It could be, anything that would trigger them to react a certain way and decide, to act, with either aggression or fear or run away or something. But go ahead, Mark. I'm just trying to
Before he
make it
goes,
relate.
so when you talked about the brain in the box, that's important, and I think one of the videos discusses that, right? Also discusses some of the dilemmas or the problems in assessing certain. I wouldn't know how to describe it. I would say like certain problems because your brain being in the box, right, only deals with it only gets its information
Signals
from the
from the
things that
senses.
you sense, right? So they
Yep.
call it reverse inference problem. So
Yeah, that was dope.
basically you're getting the result, but I mean this is a complicated thing in neuroscience, right? Even when you're doing MRIs of the brain or different things like that, because you are trying to figure out the cause, right? You have the result of it, and you're trying to figure out the cause. The thing is that the brain is very complex. We talked about complexity, right? We talked about how neurons are they're very flexible in a sense, like that was the problem with the whole lizard brain, right? Because the areas that was supposed to be logical and all those things, without emotion, is actually the same place in the brain where you have emotional outcomes in a sense. So reverse inference problem, look that up. That is a interesting, probably another brain show to really go in
Oh
detail
yeah.
what that is. But I the reason why that stuck is because the brain is in a dark box. It can't see anything. The only thing that it experiences is the sensory,
Yep.
from
With your
your five
senses.
senses, and that is it. And that's how it performs its duties. Yeah.
Yep. It's what your senses are telling you. So say like, I think one of the examples I seen given was when you hear a loud pop, right? Like bow, like just imagine a balloon popping, or so your brain, based on your past experiences, it's gonna say first you're gonna have to jump because it could have been a threat. It could have been a gunshot went off, could have been somebody car backfiring, could have been a balloon popping, could have been, something like a door slam. I think it was the example they given. But you're gonna jump because first thing your brain wants to do is protect itself. Like, okay, that could have been a threat. But then after you hit a pop, you're gonna like I think Marcus was talking about it earlier. You're gonna start to make sense of what just happened. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna kind of piece it together and come to the understanding that, okay, it was just a balloon that popped. And then you're gonna go back down to your senses you're gonna calm back down. But when you initially hear it, it's gonna be like, oh, what was that? You're gonna look around, or like I know this happened to people all the time when you're in the street and the car backfire and you look as soon as you hear that, you look because then it sounds like a gun just went off. Depending on y'all's upbringing, I don't know. I grew up around, some random shots going off at the club. So, I'm always, if I hear something loud, a loud bang, I'm looking around and like, yo, what was that? All right, somebody shooting, what's going on? And then and then you hear it pop again. Oh, that's this dude down the car. He got that little tow up car down there. He, what I'm saying, he, at the light. But go ahead, Juke. Somebody said, Herbert said the most complicated object in the universe. I agree, yo. I ain't gonna say it's the most complicated, but it is definitely complicated. It's definitely it's a lot, man. I don't think they even fully understand all about the brain yet, but it's coming, man.
I would
Where
agree with
Anthony,
that statement. I really
where
would.
and he said we duck first, ask questions, ask later, ask after. Yep. You know what I mean? You get down, man. Man, look, go shoot a gun in the goddamn crowd of black people and see if everybody don't start running before they figure out what it was. And like say like go to like a 'cause I used to go to Black Bike Week in Myrtle Beach back in the day. And you had the bikes with
Me
the
too.
pipes and them loud pipes go off, but we're around a bunch of
North
black people
Carolina.
and
Facts.
people you tend to get ignorant when you got a crowd of, you know what I mean? I'm just being real. And as soon as you hear that bike backfire or whatever, you look around like, all right, nothing's going on. You gonna duck, you gonna see some people might move a little bit, might try to duck a little bit. You don't know what's going on, but
Man, I ain't
your
never
brain.
had issues in American Beach. That was a time, boy. You feel me? Our brothers and sisters had it going on. You feel me? You got the matching
Yep.
motorcycle, the matching trailer, the car to go with it,
Oh yeah.
in the bike. Like, yeah, that was a time. That was a good time, kid. I ain't know you
Oh
went through
yeah. Man,
that.
man, listen, that was every year back in the day, man. Yeah.
Yeah. You ready to drop the
Yes,
link
indeed.
though? Cause we got some questions.
Yeah, go ahead, drop that link, man.
Marcus, Chilumba, you good to go? The professor, you good to go?
Oh my bad. Yeah, I think he had another one he was about to show, but we can still drop
Yeah,
the
you can
link.
go ahead and drop the link. I'm gonna pull this next one up. Then whoever come up.
All righty.
Purpose I should have came to the port city. What's that? Savannah? You talking about Savannah, Georgia, bro? Yeah, if anybody want to come up, man, just have this discussion with us, man, just come on through, hit the link, show some love. Appreciate all the new people that done joined in or whatever. Thurman, what's happening with you, man? I see you in there getting active.
Facts. I'm just gonna say, if it ain't Daytona Beach, Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh my God. I'm not gonna comment, but if it ain't Daytona, American Beach, or Stooges, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just saying. Those are like
Yes,
the iconic bike weeks. I'm just saying.
man. Hey, Myrtle Beach had it on lock, though. Well, Myrtle Beach and Daytona. You're right. Daytona did have that. Joint was, yeah.
Yeah, because you got Bike Week and then you got Black Bike Week. You feel me? So
Yep. The first week be who?
right.
You know what I mean? But then hey, look, that following week, oh yeah. The police
Right.
presence. The police presence gets a little bit more present.
Don't play. Don't play. For real, for real.
You feel me? But it be raw though. You know what I mean?
Before you go, y'all go ahead and hit that link. I need to see the Black Select. If Choco Kid, if you still here, please hit the link.
Yeah,
Herbert,
Chuckle Kitty, come on up, yo.
Fine Zane, Vasa. Come on.
The
Let's
uh
get
the
it
black
poppin'.
the Black
Black
Select said, what
Select.
about
Yeah.
remote viewing?
Yeah.
What you mean by that? The Black Select.
I wanted him to come up so he could explain it to us.
Yeah, let's discuss that, man. The remote viewing. Is the black? Oh, that's him right there.
Yeah. Got Miss Choco Kitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peace,
Greetings, people.
Hey,
peace. What's up, bro? What's up, sis?
hey,
Hi, Miss Choco Kitty.
how y'all doing?
Gucci.
Smooth.
I wasn't sure if I understood the one about the rainbow. Yeah, I was confused about that one.
I'm just laughing with you, girl. It was a whole week. I was confused too. All I could do is sing somewhere over the rainbow, and that's literally all I did. It took me some time to actually conceptualize what was being said, but there's some underlying things that you might have to understand first to get it. But I mean, we did a series on the brain show, so I usually tell everybody visit those videos because they break down little things that add up as a big picture for later and to understand certain phenomena like the rainbow being a subjective reality. Yeah, but I'll let Chilembwe, the professor, and Kick Dolo explain it more.
Yeah, go ahead, Chilembwe. I know you had a better grasped on that when you
So,
first initially presented it in the Discord a while back.
I mean, y'all was on my top. Y'all jumped on me bad, man.
I ain't do nothing. That was Kent.
Definitely, yeah, I definitely
Shoot, I was
trying
just
to.
thinking.
I was trying to see where you was coming from with it. I was like, hold on, CHILEMBWE, what you got
It
going on
it
with this
was a
rainbow,
big
man?
brawl though about a rainbow, y'all. I ain't never seen nothing like that. That was hilarious. A brawl about a rainbow. I mean, it was an intellectual brawl. Let's not get it confused, but it was
Oh
about
yeah, oh, yeah.
rainbows. I was like, wow, that's fascinating to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and one small fun fact. Like I said before, everybody sees a different rainbow based on where you're standing or whatever. You see a whole different rainbow than I see it, like from each other, and the rainbow is different in a different position for me than it is for you, just because
Right.
of how you interpret it through your eyes.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to add that I thought was one of the most important chapters when we dealt with 7.5 lessons about the brain is that different cultures create different minds. So depending on what culture you're from, you're gonna perceive things that are um I guess established by that culture. You get what I'm saying? So um yeah,
Yeah,
I thought that
that
that's
actually makes much more sense now too.
right,
When I'm thinking about putting it all together, like that makes a hell of a
correct.
lot of sense. Yeah.
Because when we're talking about the rainbow in particularly, so different cultures have established how shall I say different variances of colors. You feel me? Even by the names alone, right? Even by certain shades. So that's a small part of it, though. But I think that's an important concept. So now, when we're having discussions about certain things, or those things have to deal with people from another country or speaking another language, that's the first thing I think about now. Like they're from a different culture. So, I try not to project my own cultural norms on that and try to listen with objectivity. You feel me? See if I can learn something even more better.
Right, right.
He said, y'all made a brain bone. That's hilarious. You too smart. Go ahead,
But go ahead,
Chilemwe. You shut
yeah.
up now.
Oh man, I done did it. I done did it again. I was on mute. God,
You
good gracious.
Hey,
that's funny.
I'm like he in there cooking or something, yo. What's going
Right,
on?
what are you doing? Get off the show. Hurry up.
So, Miss Choco, Miss Choco. If you look at the
Choco
Choco, that's
Kitty.
right, chocolate,
Golly.
Choco. Got
Choco.
The smartest people in YouTube, and they can't get your name right, sis. Dang.
Hey, I ain't never made that claim, goddamn.
Yeah, I'm by far not the smartest.
Oh, you're pretty
So,
intelligent.
so if you look at this image here, you missed the whole Lisa Barrett conversation, but we're gonna have to rehatch it because now we got even more information. More information is always becoming available. And as you read other books, they confirm and verify and paint more of a picture of what science says and sees as the world today. And so if you look at this image right here, you see the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. That is how America divides up the rainbow. So if you was to look at a rainbow, you would see these colors in that spectrum, right? But if you was born in Russia, understood the Russian language, and came up in the Russian culture, when you looked at the rainbow, being of Russian origins, you would see red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, and violet. You would see an additional color, right? Based on that, because the culture the culture has helped shape how you're going to view that rainbow. And that's the differences in it, right? And so sometimes what happens is we think that things are, excuse me, reshare that for me, Juju. sometimes what happens is we think that what is objective because of our culture isn't subjective. We think that this is the way the whole world views it. I hate to do this, but take, for instance, the conversation we having about blackness, right? Everybody that has dark skin from Africa do not agree that they black. And you shouldn't be surprised because of that, because they're not in the culture that you're in. You see what I'm saying? And so that plays a significant role in almost every aspect of our lives. We were talking about gender, right? And I keep saying over and over, all cultures don't see a dualistic gender. There's cultures in this world that have more than two genders. And just because I was born in America doesn't give me the right to infuse or force them to take on what my culture says gender is. If you can get what I'm saying. America has established itself within racist minds, right? But just because America classifies a person from this culture or country as this doesn't mean that those same people feel the same way about it. And it's hard for us to view a world where these differences exist, which is what the rainbow conversation was about, right? Because we are not aware, or at least we are not concerned for the most part with how Russia sees the rainbow. Right. But they will absolutely see what we see completely different, including when it comes to social reality, when it comes to people having social interaction. Some cultures, two men holding hands walking down the street is not symbolist of homosexuality. That is just their culture and how they experience each other with friendship. And while that may feel uncomfortable for some, that's just what it is. And so if you go through Lisa Barrett's book, you'll realize she takes you on a journey, 7.5 lessons about the brain. It's in the Discord, so if you're in the Discord, you have free access to it. He takes you on a journey about the brain. And Juju quote about other cultures create other minds is what she's trying to get people to recognize, right? And so that's where that whole thing came out of. The rainbow scenario is from her other book called How Emotions Are Made by Lisa Barrett. And she's the one who got me looking at the rainbow, and then I looked at some other sources about it. And that's where it comes from.
The thing about that Choco Kitty, did it kind of make it a little easier to understand, or you still like, I don't know what the hell you talking about?
Maybe. I think maybe I just haven't looked that hard at an actual rainbow. But so the light blue was really obvious when we looked at that little spread that was there just now, right? And that's what it looks like kind of when you like are choosing a color, in Word or Excel, right? When you're picking your own color. So you're saying that basically just because of the way that the rainbow is drawn, I guess, over here, we kind of like tune out the light blue. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So when you're in school, like now we can say light blue and so forth and so on. But when you look at your primary color map, right, there's some cultures that don't just have 5 or 7 colors in the rainbow. They have so much more. And so because of that, our cultures inflict us where red begins and where red ends.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
But in other cultures, that it could be completely different, and they're not wrong because it's actually subjective to us. It's our cultural understanding.
I think I know what you mean because that's like the term bluish red or like reddish blue, which we would think that's nonsense, right? Because it's purple, there's purple between red and blue, but it just depends on how you think of it. But yeah, I think I see what you mean.
And then there's other nuances to it, right? Because there's certain individuals who have more rods than cones, and so the colors are much more vibrant to them. You know, that's when the genetic opponents come in. But all this is shaped by culture. So the bottom line, what we're really trying to say, is that culture shapes your mind's perception of the world more than we want to give it credit for. More than we want to give it credit for.
Gotcha.
The black Tilek, like you were saying something earlier. What was you saying? What was the remote something?
Remote viewing. Before I get onto that, this will probably lead on to that. Basically, I keep hearing the word culture, but I think to be more specific, it's language, which carries culture. And obviously, language is now the software of the brain. And obviously, if you've got a group who's been speaking a type of language for thousands of years, their their brain patterns, the neurons will grow in a certain way that's in line with their language that they're used to speaking. So that's probably why, when you say culture would shape it, I would suggest that it's language that shapes it. And it's possible that if a child from a totally different culture is raised, or different language and culture is raised in another one with these types of words and so on within another culture, that their brain neurons will start to grow and evolve based upon the new culture that they're raised in. And I think language is the things we need to specifically focus on. And with saying that, I wanted to come in and I think somebody was saying about evolution, and that our bandwidth of visual bandwidth was limited based on survival. But I think it's the other way around. We would have in evolution, it would have expanded for us to survive, to see in the dark and so on. So to see the ultraviolet and see the infrared frequencies.
Why would you think that?
Because that would be something which we need that would be an area which we need to see in the dark.
Why?
Because we need to survive. We're being hunted. We may be hunting. These are basic things with which, if we're evolving, we evolved to reproduce, survive. And I suggest there's another drive also, but putting that aside, that's more to do with, knowing yourself or knowing the universe, etc. But just those basic things, it would make more sense that we would seek to see as much of the spectrum as we could, because that was give us more of a tactical advantage over any other animals who can see in the dark. And
there's an aspect that you may not consider. We actually started touching on this in the Discord. You're not in our Discord, are you?
No,
I'm not, brother. No.
Okay.
First
Hold
of all,
on, let him get it out.
I was going to ask him, can he introduce himself? I don't think anybody's familiar with him. This is my first time ever seeing you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can we do the pleasantries first?
Sorry, okay. Yeah, so
what's your name and where you from, brother?
Yes, family. So I'm Issa.
Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me on the panel. So we used to speak to Brother Uncle Ket in maybe 7 years ago. We used to be going on it all through the whole night. You all are on a different time scale. Do you all know Titans TV?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
I heard
Titans
of it.
TV. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you part of that? You're part of Titans TV, or
that
y'all used to go at it with Unc on Titans TV?
So you could say I was part and parcel. It's not. Kalam is the one who has the whole setup of Titans TV.
Yeah, I know.
Me and him basically used to meet up and chill and stuff, and then through Titans TV we spoke to all the brothers, Uncle Ket and all the other brothers that used to come on the show from on that side years ago. So yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say something really quick before you go in, Marcus. So a couple points. So PseudoKillas deals with proven science, the scientific consensus. We won't ever go past that. We won't ever try to infer anything that has not been proven, or is part of um, the scientific consensus. In that sense, we only deal with evidence-driven science, and we pretty much share that information. We never claim to be experts or anything like that. So we can play around with what coulda or should have been, but
And you know,
reality doesn't
yeah,
prove that. And another point, I'm gonna be finished. I'm gonna be real quick. So also, nature usually chooses the path of least resistance. And we went over, the brain. We went over what allostasis was. We went over what a body budget was, right? And so you if you keep adding on things that we should have had as a human to better survive in the environment, that will literally weigh us down, like our brains would be bigger and there'll probably
consumption,
be,
yeah,
huh?
But would they?
energy consumption, yeah, and like you're
Yeah, it
talking
would
about,
be, yeah.
you're
Remote
talking about
viewing?
being able to hold on. You're talking about being able to sense like infrared and things of that nature. That takes more energy from your brain.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I
So
was
it's
getting at.
trying to, it's trying to use that energy the most in the most efficient way, and just good enough for us to survive and pass on our DNA, our genes.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And wait a minute, and one more thing. So we actually did pretty well for being the last human species on Earth. Like we survived the worst of it, from what I can see, because there was a time where we were almost extinct, and we got past that. So I'm just gonna say, for the reality of things, we've done pretty well with what we have. Yeah, I'm gonna land there.
Okay. Well, I guess, has anyone heard of remote viewing or looked at the research that was done with the United
No, I'm not familiar with that, brother.
States
No,
Marcus,
and
you heard?
go ahead and
Russia?
explain it. Go
I
ahead
don't
and
know if it was the
explain it for
40s
us.
or back in the day.
Oh, hold on.
You haven't heard of it?
We gotta clarify some of his base principles that he was discussing. We can't go past that right quick, if you don't mind.
Yes, brother.
Okay. First, misconception. First misconception. I'm not talking about language. I'm talking about culture, because culture and language, while they are intertwined in some spots, they are not the same thing. They're actually very distinct. And because of that distinction, though there's some overlap in certain places and plays, makes a difference. And so the reason why we don't just say language is because it is actually the full embrace of human experience that encompasses culture, that influences how your brain sees and shows things. Language is for a tool, just a tool for communicating idea, thoughts, over time, you can say. But culture encompasses all aspects of human life. And so we say culture because your brain is shaped by not just what's verbally heard, not just by body language, but also by the qualities of things around it, right? And those quality things have to do with things like diet, food, excess noises. If you look at a previous brain show, we talked about when a child is born, he's born with a floodlight, wide open thing. And then culture, which includes language, begins to move that to more of a spotlight. And so that's why you have to include culture. If you want to look at some examples, you can look at a collective culture, which has nothing specifically to do with language, but has to do with how they view human interactions. You'll find that in collective cultures, they tend to sing lullabies lower than people who are in the individual culture societies. They tend to hold their child longer, and we all can see the results of this action different, say, than just language itself. So how quick the mom responds to a baby's cry, how long she holds them, how long she connects them to how long she can sleep together in the same room / bed. All these things also play a part. And a perfect example of that is the Romania orphanage. So we can just look at that example, look at some of the statistics that came out of the Romanian orphanage catastrophe, and we can take it from there. But language in and of itself is not what I meant. I meant exactly what I said, which is culture. But your point is taken.
No. What my point was is that not that you should have said something else. I'm saying in relation to how the brain functions, it can be bombarded with loads of colors and all these various things, but how something is perceived by the collective. So for instance, if a child is seeing something that no adult is seeing, and they're saying, oh, that's not really there, and so on, gradually that child won't, for the most part, won't see it anymore. It's only in that child's brain. You can call it apparition, you can call it what you want. But I'm saying if it's affirmed, that child may continuously see it because it's been named and it's become part of the language. And I'm saying that the main part of all of it in relation to the part of the brain we're talking about, and the neurons, is language. That's what I was saying. So when you were talking about, I think, Russians, and they can see another color in the rainbow or something like that, I'm saying the reason why it's sort of maintained is because they have a word that describes the extra color, so to speak, or even the more refined color. And I think there's another group, I think, in Africa that doesn't see another color, or they think two colors, what we would call two different colors, as the same color. So, you know,
Correct. But
I'm basically, they're intertwined. I'm just saying it's carried through.
Right. So language is a tool that culture uses to help explain things. And so it's just a tool for culture, but all of culture and all of the shaping of the brain is not solely lit to a language. And so you can find examples of that, again, with the Romanian child study, in which they talk about what happens when a parent or a child caregiver isn't holding a child. That has nothing to do with language. That has to do with physical touch. And you can look at collective societies versus individualistic societies and see the same thing carried on through. But please, let's move on to your next thing.
What was that bit? Which bit? The remote viewing, or something?
Yeah, that was remote viewing.
Yeah. In relation to those who have what they call ESP, extrasensory perception, where I can't remember what the Russian was called, but I think it was the CIA in the US, and done experiments where they could transfer their consciousness across time and space and perceive things that are, not within their vicinity. So I'm saying with that's been spoken of, obviously, by shamans and religious people, spirituality, etc. So I think somebody was saying that basically it's all limited to your senses and from your brain.
So hold on, I think what I just heard you say was that people can transfer their consciousness across time and space through what again? Say that one more time,
perceive, brother. I will say it this way: perceive a phenomena that's not within their current vicinity. So it could be 1,000 miles away. They can see events over there. So I use the word the transference of consciousness as a means of, you could say, tune into.
And you're saying that there are people that have perceived things that were thousands of miles away in their own brain. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, where's the evidence of this?
Right.
I'm showing you the CIA report on remote viewing.
And so for instance,
I'm not saying it's true, but this is it was an experiment or testing.
Okay, hold on, I gotta read that because I haven't seen that before. All right,
I think
can you make that a little bigger, Ju? Make that a little bigger, Jew. I can't really read that. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, the thing with things like remote viewing is obviously these things are spoken of in these shamanic traditions and, you know, so-called spirituality, etc.
What kind of traditions?
But, you know, the various cultures of dreaming about. Sorry?
You said he said
Sorry?
the shaman. You said shaman traditions, shaman.
Yeah.
It has a
the
cult.
shamanic tradition.
Yeah, it has occult beginnings too. It says it early background. Occult and spiritualist literature, remote viewing, known as I can't see it from
It was
there.
called astro traveling. There
Known
was
as
all kind of
telesthesia and traveling clairvoyance. Yeah. Early researchers include Alfred Wallace, Michael Faraday, Rufus, Osgood Mason, William Crookes, excuse me. But yeah, the wiki breaks it down better, but we also have the CIA documents if we want to like study it. We don't talk about things we don't know about. Never heard of it, but
okay. It was just a question I put there.
What are you saying that the mind can do this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was suggesting that it's been spoken of obviously throughout how many thousands of years. And
hold on one second, bro. So I'm looking on Wikipedia, right? I'm scrolling down. It says remote viewing experiments have historically lacked proper controls and repeatability. There is no scientific evidence that remote viewing exists, and the topic of remote viewing is generally regarded as pseudoscience. And that's in the Wikipedia. Have you read that?
I probably read it back in I mean, I was really into a lot of this stuff, you know, over 20 years ago. But it was something which the report that I read was something that was what the CIA came out with back in the day. So they can say, well, now it's so. For instance, I think it was whichever CIA member it was. He went and looked into the nuclear weapons of the Russians. So apparently he could transfer his consciousness to that weapon. He looked left, he looked right, and he described apparently what components were in that weapon. They might call it pseudo now. I'm just saying this was what was there back then. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. I mean, so we don't.
That's fine. It was just, brother. It was just something I said. Have you heard of it? It's fine if it doesn't fit the criteria with what you're coming with.
No, it's not that it don't. No, it's not that it doesn't fit the criteria. But we the pseudo-killers. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing against you bringing it up because I never heard of it until you mentioned it. So now my experience is I've heard about this thing. I'm looking it up just off of my surface level of researching on the Wikipedia. I'm already seeing like words like pseudoscience and not no evidence that it doesn't exist. So I probably look further into it to see what you're talking about with the CIA. But I'm glad that you presented this to where now I know about it.
Okay,
so
bro.
It's not
right.
Ain't no hard feelings or nothing. But yeah, it does. It's got a little red flag on there, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Brother, listen. I'm totally like I was really into it years ago. But my thing is one of the things which I found even on one of the shows before with Brother Uncle Ket was, and I think more or less the majority of the panel was kind of stuck on it. When it comes to, I think it's like the Amazonian shamans and how they know so much knowledge about the plants in the Amazon, and what variation to mix and so on. And the majority of the panel started off with the idea of trial and error. Now the shamans are claiming that they take ayahuasca or talk to spirits and sometimes talk to the actual plants and get the tune into the frequency of the plants, however you want to word it. That's their claim of how they know what these plants can do, etc. no one so far has come up with the ideas of how they would do the trial and error experiments to know about the plants, which they have so much knowledge about, and which ones to mix and which ones are, for all their Carreri, if you know about Carreri, the poison darts, etc. No one's managed to explain how they came up with that knowledge outside of their claim, which is via their so-called spiritual world.
Well, you're still gone, boy. I see you.
This one of your goons. This one of your friends. What's going on, man?
Nah, this is one of Bobby's friends. Dude.
Hey, look, I was about to say, yo, I gotta get a button that say, whose man's is this?
That's my man, 20 grand right there, boy. Boy, you still going.
Oh, I thought it was somebody from England. I was like, hold up, man. He ain't no damn black.
man, boy.
Go ahead, though.
Wait, what's up with you? What's good?
Yeah, bro. You heard what's happening over here, right? They burning the place down, and oh boy.
Oh, hell no. Why they burning shit up? What's up?
Yeah, so basically they want Islam out, they want Muslims out, they want immigration to stop, bro. There's some upheaval going on right now in England.
Oh wow! So you better hide, yo. You know your Muslim. You better hide. Islam, nigga.
Well, in London, they can't really throw it down at the moment. It's more countryside. Okay. But yeah, they've been getting themselves beat here, there, and everywhere. But it's just the way that they're moving up. To be honest, the way that it's working now with your guy. What's that South African rich guy? Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's supporting the racists. Like it's just weird as hell. Like his influence over here is crazy. So
he's an Afrikaner. Let's not confuse. He's an Afrikaner.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, Afrikaner. Yeah, invader, whatever you want to call him. Yeah.
I heard your story though. I heard your story about, but they figured out the plants like all humans figured out the plants, like all hunter-gatherer tribes figured out the plants, yo. It's part of the ecosystem. It's part of the environment, yo. So of course they're gonna have stories because it gives the shaman more credibility when they act like the gods told and all that. But you know what I mean? But that's human nature right there. Like seriously, yo. Like yeah, and we know this because right now scientists still go around. I forget the actual name of where they go to and talk to the indigenous people about their ecology and their plants. So they still learning. There's a lot of things they don't even know about, traditional indigenous people and their medicines and stuff, the plants. So they always, checking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hear. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I hear you. Go on. Sorry.
No, finish your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying was because of the nature of some of these poisonous plants, and some of them you can actually eat because the molecules are too big to be absorbed by the intestine. But if you put it on the end of a dart and it goes directly into the bloodstream, then it affects you, like Carreri. Okay. So, but not just that, I'm saying the various combinations and how much to go with this one and that one. How the hell would they trial and error that in the bush?
Easy.
Explain that.
All you gotta have is a good ass war and thinking you got something and you shoot and you know what I'm saying? And you shoot a motherfucker and he don't die, like, or if you die, you don't die. Oh, no motherfucker died. What the hell do you do? I did that. Yeah, I mean,
no.
Engineering, yo. I promise you, yo.
I said 500.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you.
I'm saying 500 plants. Not just that. You got aphrodisiacs, bruv. You got stuff for your kidneys. You got all kind of stuff. They got so many. Over 500 plants.
I know, but how old is the tribe?
I don't know if it was. I think it's the interior of Guyana and Suriname. So it's the interior part of that, and they're thousands of years old.
Right.
They've been there thousands of years.
Give me 1,000 years. Give me 1,000 years, yo. I'm gonna learn about every plant, yo. 1,000 years and some human beings trying to survive. We're gonna learn about all the plants. We're gonna learn. Yep. And for you, go get that source though, because you'll just start making up shit. Go get the sauce. That's
I'm gonna kick you in your head about a makeup. You know,
He's
you
a
know
good
I got sauce.
storyteller. Get the damn sauce.
Yeah, he was a little confident in the beginning, yo. He was a little confident. I was like, hold on.
You know we gonna
I'm
find
still,
out first.
I'm
You don't
still,
need nobody
I'm,
to get that.
I'm still confident.
He started running it back. Nah, you started walking it back a little bit. He was like, nah, I'm just saying, bro, this is what I heard, man.
I like to read up on.
No. I stand by that 100%, but I'm on someone else's platform, and you know, I like to. I like to be humble. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. Uncle Kits.
It can't be falsified, though. That's the problem with the experiment. You get that,
Why not?
right?
Why not?
Because they can't produce any, consistent evidence for that. It says it. It says it in the wiki, and wiki is like, I guess you could say the weakest form of a source, but it also provides references. I'll tell you. We could do this.
What do we say?
You're talking about remote viewing. I'm not talking about remote viewing anymore.
I'm talking about remote viewing.
Okay, yeah, I'm not talking about that. Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll let it go.
What were you talking about?
Even remote viewing can be falsified. It's very simple. You get the guy who claims he can do it, and you say, right, I'm going to hide something, 100 meters away in a room, and I want you to tell me what's in that room. And if he can't do it after, whatever tries, you could write something down, whatever it is. If he can't do it, there you go. Simple as that. Falsified.
Yeah. Let's read. The program ran from 1975 to 1995 and extended after evaluators concluded that remote viewers consistently failed to produce actionable intelligence information. It's not producing any results, is what this is saying. And we can go back to the paragraph where Kent was talking about. Let's read that. I mean, since we're on it. What does it say? Remote viewing experiments have historically lacked proper controls and repeatability. That means it can't be falsified. If you can when you falsify stuff, an experiment, you can repeat it and it's going to yield the same results.
That's not always the case, though. So, for instance,
in science, it is.
No, I hear you. What I'm saying is, no, I understand science very well. What I'm saying to you is, if you have something which is only done once, but you have no way of explaining how that individual done it. So, for instance, if you lock them away and there is no way that individual could have got the information and he told you, read a whole page of a book that was over here, 1,000 miles away. There's no way he could have done it. You would only need for that to happen once. You would be the one that would have to prove how the hell he found that out. That's the difference.
No.
Of course.
No, you wouldn't have to. So that person could have memorized that page and then said, I could. No, listen.
But you wouldn't know the book.
It's an extraordinary. Listen. It's an extraordinary claim, right? Because one, so let's say I memorized the speech. It was written on a piece of paper that's in a museum somewhere. Does that mean, just because I came at you and said, hey, bro, guess what? I see a speech right now in my head and it's over there in DC somewhere in a museum. No, and I spit, hold up. And I spit it verbatim, right? And are you going to believe me? Or are you going to say, okay, well, since you can see that one, what is this one? Are you going to come up with a totally independent other paper that I shouldn't know nothing about or ever seen before? And you're going to say, well, what about this one over here? And I'm going to have to do that again, right? But you don't even have, just to see if I can even do it.
Brother, listen to what I said the first time. You're locked up in a room. You don't even know what book they're talking about. You don't know what page it is. And you get it right. Do you know how many books on planet Earth? You're just going to read a page from and just get it right like that? How is that possible, bro?
Scam.
I don't believe it happened. How about that?
No, I didn't say it happened. I didn't say it happened. My point was it would only need to happen once. Because you can't fluke something like that.
And I only got to jump off the Empire State Building and fly across the damn world once. Like, I mean, what's the significance in
No,
even
bro,
saying
the
that?
significance was the repeatability aspect. I'm saying that generally is the case, but not in this case. That was the point of that. That's the significance. So I'm saying, in general, yes, repeatability is something in which we deal with science in that way. But there's some things which, if it even happened once, and it's that phenomenal, then it's something which stands up there as something that's happened, and we maybe can't explain it apart from this. We can't explain it, but it's happened.
Okay, but
That's
for the record, but for the record, you're saying that didn't happen. You're just making that up.
That was an example of something. So, for instance, if it's true,
but it didn't happen.
From what I know, because I can't tell you everything the CIA done, the only claim was they saw an atomic. They looked into an atomic weapon and told them the components of the Russians. That's all I know. That's all I've read. Like I said, over 20 years ago, I just remember that particular thing, and I thought, okay, this is something interesting. But yeah.
20 years ago.
Go ahead, Mark. You about to say something?
we say okay.
So there's no substantial proof for that remote viewing. They did experiments in like the 70s or something, trying to clairvoyance. They had a bunch of CIA experiments to try to find these extrasensory probabilities that humans may have, and they all filtered and failed. So, you know, it's rummaged through the internet. You can find people saying that it really happened or it didn't happen, but there's no experiments that they've done to verify and validate any extra sense, anything in humans. Those 5 senses are what they're dealing with as far as we know.
Okay, here's one. There's a brother. Black brother
ran away from the trial. He ran.
Oh, I got a source for that too. I'm just waiting to put it up.
Okay, back.
So there's a brother from the UK who's highly autistic, and he was flown up in a helicopter, and he had one chance to look at all of this area of London, a wealthy part of London, and it says this guy drew everything in detail to the point of a, what do you call it, blocks or something? We call it flats, right? So let's say there's 13 levels in what we call flats. And he drew that down to the number. Who else can do that particular thing?
Okay, now we're moving away from it. Now we're talking about
something different.
We're talking about something different. This is the Rain Man syndrome. So we're not going to go down that road. We already understand that there's always these unique variable things that go on in human beings, in which they can have things where you got people who can remember the day of the dates on back down. You got people who can have these extraordinary memories and repeat things back.
Really?
We know about them, but that ain't what you talking about. That ain't remote sensing nothing. That's completely different.
Brilliant. As long as you agree with that one, okay. So I guess the other stuff.
I didn't say I'd agree with it. Don't. Okay. I didn't agree with what you saying it represents.
No. I'm saying, bro, I didn't say it represented. I was making a point to try and test where you agree. So as long as you agree, there's certain individual humans that can do certain things that the vast majority of humans can't do, and that's a major. We would call that some sort of phenomenon.
It's explained. Yeah.
How would they explain that?
We have images of the brain. We know that certain mechanisms in the brain have mutations that allow for larger components in certain areas of the brain that carry certain functions. So that's not really as unknowable as you think it is. What happens is we don't know the mutations that cause these variables, maybe, and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No. It's what my point is that as long as you agree that there are phenomena which humans, they're individual, 1 out of a billion humans can specifically do it. I'm saying if someone else claimed it, say, well, let his mum do it. Repeatability is what my point is. You would have this one individual. He's the only one that can do it. So it doesn't mean it's a human phenomenon. But yeah, in regards to remote viewing and talking to plants and all that kind of stuff, yeah, we can, if I find the research on that, I'll present it. But yeah,
Juju, share my screen. Please, can you do that for me, please? So what he's describing is the savant syndrome, and there's actually quite a few people that have it, and they're very fascinating. Some people can learn to play the piano or a musical instrument without any training. So this is called savant syndrome. It's a phenomenon where somebody just demonstrates exceptional aptitude in one domain, such as art or mathematics, despite significant social or intellectual impairment. That's very key. Those with the condition generally have neurodevelopmental conditions such as autism or have experienced a brain injury. About half the cases associated with autism and these individuals may be known as autistic savants. The other half often have some form of central nervous system injury or disease. While the condition usually becomes apparent in childhood, in some cases it develops later in life. It is not recognized as a mental disorder within the Diagnostics and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition, as it relates to parts of the brain healing and restructuring. Savant syndrome is estimated to affect around 1 in a million people. Affects males more than females at about a 6-to-1 ratio. The first medical accounts of the condition was all the way back in 1783. 0.5 to 10% of those with autism have some form of savant abilities. So it's not as rare as we think it is. We understand that it's about either some abnormal mutation or growth, dealing with autism or something like that. And we also understand that it can come from some type of injury. So, it's not as surprising or as spooky as we want to make it. It's very simple.
No, it's not spooky, but it's definitely unique.
There's a lot of unique things. But what
like,
does that mean?
I'm saying in relation to human beings and human phenomena, if you have to search for an individual and it's 1 out of every 500 million, then that is very unique and very important.
1 out of every million.
Don't
need to extend the number too high.
You think 1 out of every million can do what this guy did?
How many people on the planet Earth?
What, 6 billion, 7 billion?
And so how many is that?
How many is what?
If they say around 1 out of every million people are savants, case in point, syndrome savants.
Yeah.
Right? How many is that?
Well, that's a hell of a lot because there's 1,000 million in a billion.
My point exactly. So what were you saying about it's rare?
You're telling me that's not rare? After all, it's 1,000. Yeah.
I mean, it's rare, but there's diseases that come around just about as much as that. I mean, it's just human existence. We have variations and mutations, and that's just what happens. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, they have a condition. It's called savant syndrome. It's documented and been monitored for over hundreds of years. Right.
Right. So
okay.
So I mean, yeah, there was I don't know what you'll think about that, but there was a girl on English TV. I think she was Russian, and apparently she had X-ray vision, and they tested her on TV. And she could see.
Now, see, that's what I'm saying.
I'm dead serious. It was on TV.
Now we're back to the wild stuff.
I'm dead serious. It was on TV, and they tried and tested her to see whether she could see. I think she was Romanian or something, or Polish. But anyway, you know what? When I get all the evidence for anything I got to present, I just wanted to test the water today and see what was. So it's all good. It's all good.
Well, let me deal with this next thing right quick. Let me get this next source out right quick. I personally love reading sources. I have a passion about it. I like to see, and look at evidence-based things. this is one of my favorite books, and it comes under the assumption about indigenous tribes and what they can and cannot know. So this is from the book called Rationality by Steven Pinker, and he's going to break down something that most people would assume that these people did not have any capabilities of being able to perform and understand, but it just isn't true. And it's talking about his experience. Well, one of the experiences that someone had with the Sand people, right? And so we talking about, you asked about, how could these people know this? How could these people not know that? Is my screen sharing?
Do you mean the shamans in regards to the plants?
Yeah. I'm about to read about some people about that they can engage in things like critical thinking, analysis of data in their environment, and so it's not far-fetched for them to know and understand that if they've been in that environment for a long enough time. And there was this idea that the hunter-gatherers, for a long time, it's been proposed that hunter-gatherers did not actually engage in rationality, and that that was a modern science thing, a modern development with agriculture and development of towns and so forth and so on. What we used to call civilization.
Mm-hmm.
So just let me read this. The San don't just pigeonhole animals into categories, but make finer grain, logical distinctions. They tell individuals apart within species by reading their hoof prints, looking for telltale nicks and variations, and they distinguish the individual permanent traits. Like a species and sex, from transient conditions like fatigue, which they infer from signs of their hoof dragging and stopping the rest, defy the Carnards of the pre-modern peoples have no concept of time. They estimate the age of an animal from the size and crispness of its hoof prints, can date its spores by the freshness of its tracks, wetness of the saliva and droppings, the angle of the sun relative to the shady resting place, the pimless sets of the superimposed tracks from other animals. Persistent hunting could not succeed without these logical necessities. A hunter can't track just any gemsbok from among the many that have left tracks, but only one he has been pursuing to exhaustion. The Sand also engage in critical thinking. They know not to trust their first impressions, appreciate the danger of seeing what they want to see, nor will they accept the arguments from authority, anyone including a young upstart who may shoot down a conjecture or come up with his own until a consensus emerges from disputation. Though it's mainly the men who hunt, the women are just as knowledgeable in interpreting spores. And Lisenberg reports that one named woman, Nassie, put the men to shame. The Sand adjusts their credence in their hypothesis according to how the diagnosis of the evidence is a matter of conditional probability. The porcupine foot, for instance, has 2 promiscuous pads, while a honey badger has 1, but the pad print may fail to register on hard ground. This means that though the probability of the track will have 1 pad print, given that it was made by a honey badger, is high. Inverse probability, Juju touched on this a little bit, that a track was made by a honey badger, given that a 1 pad print is lower, since it's also an incomplete porcupine track. The Sand do not confuse these conditional probabilities. They know that since 2 pad prints can only be left by porcupine, the probability of porcupine given 2 pad prints are high. The Sand calibrate the credence of the hypothesis according to its prior plausibility. The tracks are ambiguous, it assumes, so forth and so on. So basically what he's saying is that the San people, based in their environment, use critical thinking, evidence-based acknowledgement of their survival skills, and then use that to make educated decisions. And so this idea that these shamans needed a spiritual ancestor to help them is just ridiculous. It's not necessary. They've been in this place for long and they learn. They recognize their environments. They know what the environments can produce and what it can't produce. And they base it on that. You go to West Africa, they got seed banks. And those seed banks, they do things like, hey, look, these seeds are better for drought time. These seeds are better for when it's a moist time. And they're able to negotiate that path because they had the experience of living there. And they're able to make the distinction.
Well, indeed, man. I don't want to go too far. You know, appreciate your black select, man. We don't want to drag it out too long on that. But hey, due diligence, man. We want to welcome you to the panel, man. I saw you popped in real quick. We're gonna try to end this thing soon. We don't want it to run too long. But anything you wanted to say, brother? Due diligence.
Peace. I appreciate you for letting me on. I was just trying to add to the conversation. I made a short video about the perception of reality, and I wanted to I dropped a video in the back chat. It's about 10 minutes long. I was wondering if you guys could check it out and let me know what you think. Try to add to the conversation, maybe give me some critique.
Do that. Oh, this is something you created?
Indeed.
Oh, okay. What y'all think? I want to go ahead and play it now. How y'all feeling?
Give me a second.
Let me see.
It's actually pretty good. I mean, did you say something about God in that video?
Nope.
Okay, well, yeah. I thought it was pretty good.
Oh no, I did mention it, but it was like a metaphor.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna say let's do it. Go ahead. What you want to say, Mark?
Can we look at it and come and get back with you?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Let us, cause we're gonna do another show next week. We're gonna keep this thing going. Try to do it on a weekly basis. Next Tuesday, and then we'll try to do it from Tuesday on. But yeah, we're gonna look at this joint and give you that way we can thoroughly give you a good critique on it instead of just peeping at one time and we might miss something that you might have added in there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I appreciate the critique. I'm just trying to add on to the conversation. I feel like it'll just be something fun to do.
It's not a pseudo video, but
no, I ain't saying it is. Yeah, I ain't saying it is.
That's okay.
I just know I got it.
I won't take my word for it. I mean, we just want to premiere with the people. It's not our video. It's somebody else's. So, if you come on the PseudoKillas with something and if it's whack, then we gonna go in on it. So I think people know better.
Yeah, I'm just saying for time's sake. That's all. I know we wanted to keep this under like a good 2 hours.
All right, it's all good.
But
I'm gonna watch it in a few minutes and see what's up. I started it already. Heard you talking, but just give us a synopsis on what you saying in there. Give us an idea.
I mean, I just go over different ways in which perception can be, or should I say, I go over the ways that reality can be changed by your perception. You know what I'm saying? So I asked the question can we ever experience an objective reality, or can we only ever experience like relativity and subjectivity? And then I just give some reasons why, perception, can be different. You know what I mean? Like I just go through how, we can only see in a specific magnetic spectrum. I talk about epigenetics, how it can affect us and affect your reality. I talk about how food can affect your reality. So I just go over a few different aspects on how, your perception can affect your reality. And the question is, can we experience objective reality? What do you guys think?
Oh hell yeah, I think it's a good topic to dive into. I don't think we can per se experience objective reality, just based on how limited our brains are. If you're talking about just us in like as an individual, experience it. No, I don't think we can. My short answer.
Anybody else got an opinion on it?
What do you mean by understand the mind of God?
Well, like I said, it's a metaphor. Whenever I say understand the mind of God, I mean, you know how Einstein says, you know, God doesn't play dice, or they say the universe is ordered by God. So I just mean when I say understand the mind of God, understand the operations of the universe. That's all. It's a metaphor for that.
Yeah, we'll dive into it, man. But we're gonna try to wrap this thing up, man. I promise you due diligence. I'm definitely gonna check that video out. I know they probably already, Juju said she checked it out. Marcus already looking at it now, I think. So we're gonna try to close this out, man. Any final words from a panel guest? Black
Yeah,
Intellect, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. You got anything you wanna say real quick?
yeah.
No, in
I
about
just want to.
20 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's cool, bro. Yeah, I really appreciate you all letting me on. This show has come, you know, brother Uncle Ket has come so far over the years. I love what you all are doing. Taking us away from our spookism down to, you know, using our logic, reason, and rationality. So yeah. I plan to come back with my sources for any claim I make, though.
Oh,
So
hey man, we welcome it all, brother. Look, shit, we gonna call it like we see it. If it's looking like it, you know what I mean, then we gonna call it out. But that's why we say bring your source, because you might have something that we ain't ever come across. You might prove us wrong about something. So we accept all challenges, all information that is legit and got some evidence behind it. But hey, due diligence, man. You got anything else you want to say?
Nah, I just appreciate y'all letting me on. It was a pretty good show, and you know, I enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
So indeed, Juju, what's up?
Join us back here Wednesday at 10 p.m. for another banging episode of Our Galaxy and Beyond.
Oh yeah, man. Make sure y'all check that out, man. They've been on fire, man, lately. Like, I mean, it's one of my favorite shows already, but like I say, they've been doing their thing over there. So make sure you, man, and check out them pictures on the post that we be making on the YouTube page, man. Anthony been taking those. Like that's primary research right there. Them primary pictures right there that he's taking with his own telescope. So, y'all make sure y'all tune in tomorrow and give him his props for that. Tune into the God Killer. He's doing this thing on the community as skeptics as well as the PseudoKillas. So make sure y'all catching them shows over there. He breaking down the Green Sahara. You know what I'm saying? Beating up a couple folk over there with that. And let me get to Marcus, man. What's up, bro? You got anything you want to say?
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm grateful. Due diligence, you jumped on the panel. It's the Black Telect. It's always good when people come and join and hold the conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's open for that. You know what I mean? Healthy dialogue without a lot of the added ad hominems and the visceral that goes with it. We do have a Discord, man. Email us. I wish somebody dropped the Discord link in there, but you can email us at the what is it? Community of Skeptics at Gmail.
CO Skeptics.
Oh, okay, yeah, right there. What Juju just said.
Or if Miss Melissa, if you could put that email in the chat, please. Thank you.
Can you drop it in the back chat?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and don't forget to check out the Lady Killers, man. They did a phenomenal show the other day, man. On politics, and I know they probably got some more things cooking, man. That's a brilliant group of women right there, man. So make sure y'all check that out too as well. What up, Miss Lisa? I see you in the chat, man. I don't think I shouted you out yet, man. But you one of our greatest supporters, man. So it's always love with you, man. Real talk. So With that being said, man,
Oh,
you know what I mean? We gonna
Ken, I ain't even finished. Ken, good gracious, let me take my time out. Bro, you keep now,
all right, I'm about to put the lid on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So,
I
yeah,
got you.
so
Go ahead.
the Discord is open. You don't have to necessarily be atheist or agnostic, but you do need to at least promote science, good conversations, good dialogue. You know, it's not a place for us to sit back and get in the boxing ring so much as it's a place for us to hold healthy discourse. Sometimes we agree, most of the time we do not, but we can still have a healthy discourse. Look forward to their Galaxy and Beyond show. We are bringing back the Garden Show. I'm making a verbal commitment online to say that we're bringing that back. I'll do my parts, and Juju will do her part, of course. And look for some up and coming shows and open conversations. The Lady Killas is putting in that work. The Pseudo Killer Army is putting in that work, man, and expect some good content to continue to come on. I appreciate all those who came out. I know that time is of the essence, since that you had other things you could have been doing, but you chose to join us. So I'm grateful for that, as always. So we appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
True indeed, true indeed.
Blessings, bro.
Hit it with the joint, Juju.